Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Love Fruit podcast, a podcast for people interested in raw veganism and fruitarianism, people that love fruit, people that are interested in learning about, an alternative diet and lifestyle. And today we have an interview with a guest that I'm looking forward to learning more about, who I've been around a number of times. And now I'm going to get a chance, like everyone else is, to learn more about this fascinating man. And let me give you a little bit of an introduction. His name is Guillermo Sepulveda, known as Manguimo, and he is a Mexican fruit-based vegan influencer who believes that fruit is the balsam that humanity needs to heal. He is a vegan for the animals. He is a raw vegan as a health educator, and he graduated Summa Cum Laude from UDEM in Humanistics and Social Studies. He has a master's in society from UHA. He is certified in plant-based nutrition by CNS, and he has a diploma in master in raw food education by Dr.s Rick and Karin Dina. He also is a human resources trainer with the Mexican official standard ECO217. He teaches natural dietetics at the Universidad Humanista de las Américas. He participates as a habits change coach at Grupo Hábitos and at Diploma on the raw vegan lifestyle. He worked in Le Fruit at Woodstock Fruit Festival from 2011 to 2012, which was basically a gourmet raw vegan kitchen with Kendall and also with raw chef Alicia Ojeda. Guillermo is also a speaker and a TV co-host at La Cocina con Geronimo, a Mexican TV show present in 28 Mexican states, and he is the director of Comer para Sanar. So welcome, Guillermo, or Manguimo, and thank you for giving us some of your time today.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, for asking me to participate, and thank you everybody to hear from me, to hear from the mango lover.
Well, you've got a very impressive CV, I've got to say. You've got a lot of education behind you and a lot of knowledge. So I'm sure people are looking forward to hearing from you. And also you have a knowledge of teaching people and helping people make changes to their habits. And I think that's very important to people as well. So what I want to ask is there anything else that you would like to say in introduction to yourself? Anything you would like us to know?
Well, I really like to emphasize the animal issue aspect.
Sure.
Yes, I am a raw vegan or raw foodist for my health because I was diagnosed with depression, but I am vegan for the animals. So it's the both sides of the coin, the both flavors of the mango, the vegan and the raw vegan stuff. That's pretty much the essence of what I am and
which
what
one
I like to learn.
Which one came first? Did you go vegan first, or did you go vegan for the animals first, or were you making those changes for your health first?
Well, on the 30th of May, I will be a vegan for 15 years old, 15 years. So I started first as a vegan for 7 years, and then after a mixed vegan, like a normal, regular vegan, 7 years after that, I started the raw food education and the raw food lifestyle. I first read something and educate myself to start it like with a very large and abundant information background. I think that is pretty much a mistake because I waited for more. I think it's not needed to wait for so many information until you start the actual lifestyle. But it's pretty much, it's a cool way to live anyway, to be sure of what one really wants to share and to live. But maybe not waiting for so long.
Yeah.
I am really intellectual. Like I like to understand first and then practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we must start learning in the way, in the path,
Mm-hmm.
not making us the intellectual excuses, not allowing the reality to show, to express itself, instead of that, just overdoing the same ideas and overreading a lot.
Yeah.
That might be quite non-special and stopping us for fulfilling our raw food dreams.
Excellent. And let me ask you about your story in general. You went vegan 15 years ago, but when did you start making changes to your diet, and when did you find out about raw veganism? How did you find out about it?
Well, it came to me pretty much like a trauma, like a mental trauma, seeing a fellow non-human animal suffering. My cousins and pretty much all my family, my father line family, it's in animal agriculture stuff, in the regular animal agriculture abusing system.
Right.
So for me, having a small trip to the animal slaughterhouse or grinder was a trauma for me.
Right.
And so I started that cold turkey, like from that very second, I started to be vegan for pure ethical reasons. I didn't know anything else about health and stuff.
And then what was then the change to starting to go raw vegan?
Well, over the years, I realized that regular veganism was not the panacea, the solution for everything. Maybe I let alone the animals, our fellow brothers and sister animals, but it's not the solution for all of it. So I started to read more to cure my depression. I am a very stubborn person, so I was on that path. Like, it has to be the food. It's not about psychological stuff. It has to be the food. So later I learned about the gut microbiome that is related to gamma aminobutyric acid production and monoamino oxidase. That is a substance that allows serotonin to increase the well-being and happiness, and to improve the sleep quality. So with that science in hand, I started to learn more about raw foods. I first did it in a not ideal way. And I wait for so long, reading without eating enough fruits, because I was a raw foodist, kind of nuts and seeds and superfood kind of raw foodist. And I waited for so long, looking for information. I am really grateful for that, but maybe it was so long because I still had depression until I finally found the fruit path. So it's about the fruits. I like vegetables, seeds, and other plant matters, plant food stuff, but I really, really love fruit over every other food.
Excellent. And was there any particular information you came across? Was it like YouTube videos? Was it books? Was it a particular speaker you went to see? How did you start to make those changes?
Well, my first kind of natural hygiene, fruitarian, frugivore lecture book was Anne Osborne, Fruitarianism, The Path to Paradise.
Oh, wow.
This beautiful lady, Australian lady, I know you really know well. For me, it's my teacher, my godmother, I will say, my fruitarian godmother or something.
Right. Nice.
And I read that book from the hands of another fruitarian, my friend Micah Maron, a Canadian, Nova Scotian, that allowed me to read her book. It was hers, and so I read it twice, and I came to the conclusion that I wanted to be a fruitarian, like just pure fruits, not vegetables and stuff, just pure fruits. And I was a fruitarian for 7 months and a half with my clinician studies on hand and everything correct. It was not just a test, it was like everything correct. And then I started to crave for vegetables after many months. So I started to eat raw vegetables. And my friend also asked me to read The 80-10 Diet, which we both know it's a gold standard for the fruit lovers. And so I read it and realized it was a more balanced way long-term for me, because I know that Anne Osborne is super, ultra, over healthy. But for me, it was pretty much more easier to get into social stuff and to live long term. So fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. The 80-10 hygienist Doug Graham style.
Sure, excellent. And how long have you been doing that?
Well, I did it like in perfection for 6 years. Now I don't consider myself, I am not a raw vegan. I will say I am a raw vegan foodist. Right. I'm a vegan, but raw fooder, not like 100%. So I think the translation is raw fooder, not raw vegan. Okay. So I it depends on the season, 100% raw or 90% raw. I sometimes eat like the pumpkin, but it has to be cooked. Pumpkin or beet, but cooked beet, or raw beet. It depends. Or raw vegetable soups. Everything has to be vegan. That's like the most clear stuff I have in my mind. Sure. But not everything has to be like just raw always. In the first 6 years, I did it 100%. And then the other 2 years and something that I have as a raw foodist, 90, 95, 100 sometimes.
So when you do like 100% raw, what does your day look like when you're just eating raw food?
That's a very interesting question, as we Mexicans have both the blessings of the well-known water content or water-rich foods. All the cantaloupes and the watermelons and the really water-rich content fruits. But also we have other fruits like prickly pears. We say tuna, but tuna sounds like fish.
Yeah.
And we had different colors and flavors and textures, and they are so yummy that I eat them as well as if they were watermelon. So one day is Valencia orange and the other is watermelon or cantaloupe, and the other is just like pure prickly pear. And I have realized that they are maybe even more nutritious than watermelon, for example. They are the same color, the red ones, but maybe more nutritious and vitamin rich fruits. So it's the water rich at the breakfast, and then later at the afternoon, I don't know how you refer to the afternoon meal, the supper, I don't know.
Lunch?
The lunch, okay. The lunch, some bananas and more bananas, like the dense fruits, or mamey sapori, or with lucky, the chocolate sapori or the white sapori or the canis tail or stuff. Or a salad, a very big salad, and at night I changed the order and eat more fruit. And if I eat fruits at the lunch, at dinner, I eat a very big salad from 1 pound or 2 pounds or maybe 3 pounds of vegetables. I will say 1 kilo. I think it's exaggerating. I'm exaggerating saying 3 pounds, but sometimes with seeds and avocado, this beautiful Hass avocado, big Hass avocado, and hemp seeds, and it's pretty much what I eat.
What is the fruit like in Mexico? Do you think that it's better in Mexico than other places you've been? Is it easy to get good fruit in Mexico?
The best place to get fruit.
Well, is Mexico a good place for fruit?
Well, it depends on the zone. I live northeast, that is below Texas. So a lot of Valencias and tangerines and citrus fruits. But it's Monterrey, my home city. It's a very big city, so we managed to get a lot of different fruits from all around the globe, except from durian. We cannot get durian. But big cities like Guadalajara or Cancun or Mexico City, Monterrey, Tijuana, that's below San Diego, are distributed along the nation. So they are all along the nation, and if one is closer to those cities or live in those cities, one can have a very good quality, ripe variety of fruits from pretty much all around the globe.
Excellent. Are you able to forage any fruit in Mexico? Is it growing on the trees around you, or is it not quite as
Yes, close the beach, close the mountains, close the desert. These prickly pears are organ fruits, so we need to be very careful with thorns and stuff, and small, really persistent pain in the ass thorns, like hair, like small hair, like beer, right?
Yeah.
Like all over the cactus. but it's a very nice experience to get them from the cactus, from the organ, the berry organ. And even if we have a lot of thorns all over our body, it's the same, the greatest experience one can get. So yes, one can forest citrus in my hometown. Plenty of citrus everywhere, so it's possible. And Mexico, I will say it's Mexico actually.
Sorry.
So no. It's in English. It's Mexico. It should be like and we are conducting a English speaking interview, so it's Mexico. But I like to say Mexico because it's
correct.
The name. In fact, in Nahuatl, it's Mexico, and I cannot pronounce it really well. But the very root of the country, it's Nahuatl, not Spaniard, not Spanish. So it's Mexico.
Yeah.
The place in the belly bottom of the moon. That's what Mexico means.
Oh wow!
The place in the belly bottom of the moon.
Very nice, interesting.
It's a very rich in bioecological systems. So we can get from the cactus or the vines or the bushes or the palms or the trees or the very different kind of fruits, from a blueberry to jackfruits.
Amazing.
So it's a really cool country to live in if one is a fruit lover. And people usually don't get that idea, don't even have the clinical fruitarian eye. So it's plenty of trees all over the place, all over the countries, and people don't care about them. So it's all for us. Like I can pinpoint from very far fruits, but people doesn't even see the fruits, even if they are 2 yards from them. So it's, for a fruitarian point of view, it's a paradise. And I like this place. Even the flag, the Mexican flag, has the cactus greens, the cactus organs with the red prickly pears.
Oh wow!
It's in the flags, and people don't care about that. Like for me, they are not patriots. Shall I say patriots? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Patriots, if they don't eat prickly pears and nopal, like the cactus greens.
Oh wow!
And for me, like I always tell them in my lectures and stuff, hey, want to really be patriots, healthy, and really happy guys and people, go to the flag. That's the answer to health. In fact, the prickly pear plus the green, the organ, has pretty much all nutrients except from B12, maybe it has, like with the feces of the animals and stuff, and vitamin D. But one needs to go there to get the cactus, so that's the sun. So it has pretty much all the nutrients, and it's there in the flag. So Mexico, also the flag is about red, white, and green. And it is a legend, a story about Iturbide and his crew, the Mexican designers of the flag, that they were eating a watermelon and then they wanted to bring the watermelon into the flag. Maybe it's a legend, but it's a very nice legend that's in many history books. It's not just a legend. It's logical, and so it's red, white, and green, just as a watermelon. So it's about watermelons, and it's about precursors, and it's about healthy, the Mexican flag. Also, Mexico is the #1 watermelon producer and exporter to other countries.
I didn't know that.
So it's watermelon and precursor. It's everywhere, but many people don't notice.
Yeah, that's excellent. I didn't know that. So can I ask Guillermo, you mentioned your lectures there, and you teach people about health and diet. What are your main tips for beginners who are trying to change their diet and lifestyle? What would you say are the most important things to focus on?
Texts, like the books I recommend, or what?
Sorry, no, your tips, TIPS.
Tips. Okay, sorry. My tips. Well, I write them here. I will read them because I have a small list here. Start with one raw vegan meal per day, the first week or 15 days. Like, to make it slowly and increasing the fruit slowly. So the withdrawal symptoms of other addictive foods do not affect us so much. And so also the cleansing process should be a pain in the ass for many people. So it may be a pain in the ass. So start with one meal the first week, and then 2 raw food meals the second week, then the third or fourth or second month, the whole raw food diet. So we must not wait to start intellectualizing many stuff, many information. We should start, but not in a whole way, like all the diets, just one meal.
Sure.
And then the other and the other. The other is, can you hear me?
Yes, yep.
Okay. The other, eat enough, right, good quality, and your favorite fruits. We know already that a wide variety and abundance and ripe fruit, it's a must, but also your favorites, because many people think that they should eat special fruits or something, but it's about feeling comfortable with oneself and say I am comfortable and I am eating enough and I like it, and it's not something that is beyond my comfort zone. It's like the same watermelon and orange and bananas and mango that I always eat, but I usually eat them in small quantities, and I want to eat them in bigger and in abundance quantities. But it's about favorites. And the other is, what's your digestion, your urine, and your poop? It's very important for me that one can follow all the process along the digestive tract to see what it's the income seeing as if it was like economics class or something. The income and the outcome. If someone is eating really good and the poop or the digestion, it doesn't feel comfortable, then that person must change the maturity, the mature fruits for other less mature or more mature, more ripe, I mean ripe, or less quantity or more quantity or whatever. But doing changes. Don't be stubborn and changing diet. But also be patient, because the cleansing process, the detoxifying process, it's something natural, and the poop some days is not gonna be like super perfect, but at the medium term and long term should be perfect, and 3 times a day. And in this scale, the Bristol scale, look for the four type of poop in the Bristol scale. And the urine, the same. Urinating enough, because when some people start without having enough information of the hydration process of the body, and they start eating fruits, they, without knowing it, start stopping drinking enough water. It's obvious that fruits have a lot of water, are like liquid.
Yeah.
But many people that starts eat a lot of fruit, and it's in the ideal circumstances is enough. But living in a city, in a polluted, high in toxin city, requires to eat fruits and to drink water also.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't drink water and start to urinate sometimes less than normal. And normal, it's like, it is not a must. Normal is dehydration. And then they stop drinking water, and then the hydration is the same, or sometimes less hydration.
Yeah.
That's weird, because fruits are perfect hydration foods, but think in water terms. It's not about fruits if you live in a city. We need to drink water anyway, and to watch for the urine. It must be clear, it must be enough in quantity, not scarce, but enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be also many times, like 8 times a day, or 9
Sure.
or 10, or so. The income and the outcome of the nutrition, the economics of nutrition, that's a highlight I teach to my children, to my and it's pretty much everything else. I think you already know that ripe fruit, enough fruit, variety, colors.
Well, let's talk about habits, because you help people to change habits. And why is it hard to change habits, firstly? And what is your advice on helping people to change their habits?
Oh, and before that, let me return to the other subject, the
Sure.
Advices. Vegetables. When people live in a city, they must eat vegetables, the mineral-rich content vegetables, to neutralize the acids and the toxins of the polluted environment. So fruitarians are for like for the paradise, for your own
Sure.
your own controlled environment. But when one lives in a city, vegetables, please, and some nuts, especially some seeds like hemp and chia and flax. It's also really important. It's not about fruitarianism, but if you're really a purist and want to experience the most vital sensation, you might try it for some days or weeks or for your life. If you have all the environment controlled, that's difficult. Your own trees and your own land and your own unpolluted pure air and stuff. That's fruitarian, but for the city living people, a lot of vegetables and seeds. Enough seeds, like some spoons a day. Okay, so now the habits. The question was my explanation and my advices to changing habits properly, right? That was the question.
Yes.
Well, they must need start to learn about their motives, themselves, the very foundation of why they are doing a change in their lives. It's like epistemologic, like the philosophical essence of why someone needs to change, to recognize the list, the all the aspects of one motivations and feelings about change, and the rationalizing and excuses and fears and stuff that is not allowing them to continue, like all the excuses. Like the usual, normal, regular excuses we find in Facebook and the social media, like what will you do if you are vegan and you are on a lonely island and the only blah 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 it's a rabbit, and then should you eat the rabbit, or like those kind of miserable excuses people do in abundance, like thousands of excuses to avoid seeing the truth. So it's also a mental cleanse. I highly recommend people to learn meditation to get over all of the rubbish. Rubbish is a word, right?
Yeah.
They have in mind to hug, to embrace perfect health. So that's the foundation, the mind of the person, the motivations, and then to start gradually, to start persistently do just what you really can do 99% or 100% daily. Please don't be idealizing people, like just in the perfect world people, to try to do it 100% always, like all the aspects of the life, always in perfection, cold turkey, like from one day to the other. Or I will say it cold mango, because I don't want to say turkey, because it's vegan sayings and stuff. So don't eat the cold mango, for instance. It's about persistence. It's about planning. Diagram says proper planning prevents poor performance. Planning your strategy, not over planning. Okay, it's not about like using planification and strategy as an excuse to avoid doing something for real. It's not about that. It's about having a schedule, a plan in time, and said, I will start with this, and then this, and then this, and then I will reach perfection in the human way of saying. Perfection is not like being perfect, but about masterizing a plan. But with time, with a schedule, and in a persistent way, adding more balance in the equation until realization and fulfillment and feeling happy and connected with everyone else, like to be alive.
Yeah.
But it's a path. It's not like a checkpoint and that's it, like from one day to the other.
Excellent.
What else?
Why is it hard to change habits anyway? Do you know any of the science around that? Why is it hard for people to change habits?
Well, mostly because they are afraid for change is always challenging for people, for human beings. It's something really deep into the human mind.
Yeah.
Because for other species, change is reality. Everything is change. But people, it's so furious, so attached to feel the continuity of life as if it were something that it's in control always. So something that is beyond the control, the mind control, or the perception of control, something beyond that perception, challenge, and even it's a menace to the controlled and very square way of seeing the reality of people. It's beyond the square, beyond the mark, beyond the limits, but it's not beyond anything. Change is not beyond changed. It's just reality. But people is afraid of change. Everything I said, it's the essence is people is afraid of change. So it's an excuse.
Yes.
People make excuses because they don't want to change. But it's needed to go over and have success in life and to get rid of the cheaty life of people. So change is life and death sometimes, but we're talking about life. So change is life.
Yeah, excellent. And on a vegan diet or a raw vegan diet, do you, obviously your son is quite educated in this, what's your opinion on supplements? Do we need to take supplementation and things like that?
Well, I was on B12 supplemented for 6 years, the first 6 raw, 100% raw vegan years.
Mm-hmm.
I had no symptoms. My B12 level was at the 200s, and going down month by month, like 1% or 0.5% lower and lower, slightly bit lower every month. Well, every 3 months, because I was not like checking myself in the lab like monthly, but it was changing bit by bit lower. So I started to supplement B12, and I think it's a must, like no discussion. I understand really, really, 'cause I was not like checking myself in the lab like monthly, but it was changing bit by bit lower. So I started to supplement B12, and I think it's a must, like no discussion. I understand really virtuous, really, precise and controlled people that control the environment, like they have their trees and their non-toxic environment and stuff, might avoid that supplement without consequences. Mm-hmm. But that's idealism, not realism in many, many ways. So some very few people have not supplemented for 30 years or 25 or 20 years, and they are really healthy. Mm-hmm. But I can count it with my hands, and I know probably 2,000 vegans. So like one by one, I know a lot of vegans.
Yeah.
And the ones that long term don't supplement are like 10, and they are really good, but I wouldn't go that way anymore. 6 years I did it. I was really well, but I didn't.
So is your thoughts that a person goes vegan, they have a store of B12, and over the years that store is used up?
I think so. Like the amino acid pool, well, the B12 pool in the ¿cómo se dice? Liver, yeah, liver. Yes. Well, it's not only a thought, it's, I think, science. Well, I also have friends, many doctors, like medicine doctors, and that's pretty much what they say. It's the liver savings, yes.
Store, yeah.
Stores.
And what do you think are some of the mistakes people make on a raw vegan diet that you think are maybe wrong?
Well, I also eat them, write them down here. Mistakes. Well, I already said over rationalizing decisions, like no, I'm okay, I know this way, this is the way of life, I must not change it, I know it, raw vegan is the stuff, I know it should be fruit based always, not vegetable based, and I know that one, and that's it. But you know what? I think people must change that also. Some people must eat more vegetables at the beginning or the middle of, sure, and then fruits, or the other way. Some people eat a lot of vegetables, like a lot, and get constipated for the excess fiber, like 2 kilograms of vegetables daily. Wait a little bit. It's not about, we are not horses, we are primates, right? But stubbornness, I don't know if that's a word, but stubbornness. It's over rationalizing and said, okay, no, this is the way, and it's on mind and not on the body. Live on the body. Use your instinct. Use your over time, you are gonna understand we have a gut intelligence, or a visceral intelligence, and without using that much arguments and information, a lot of verbs and information, we can get the same result just by impulse. But I'm not saying like just instinct, not gut. It's about gut or visceral intelligence. We know what's going on without reading lots and lots and lots of books. That's really nice. We have to read, but it's not the most important. The most important important is to be a primate, to be a primate.
Yeah.
To be an actual kind of white, bald, erected primate, but a primate anyway.
Yeah.
And primates are not good readers, I believe, but they are good eaters. So they eat without read. So eating over reading. And nature over culture.
Nice. I like that.
The other is, let me see. Well, also that supercharging, super loaded brain with information can go to excuses, because information loaded with more information, and then dizziness occurs, and then excuses and fear. So be a fearing primate, for God's sake, for nature's sake.
Nice.
And also read. So it's about instinct, and it's about intelligence also, yes, but in perspective. And it's about intuition. Like, I don't know you, but I started to it will sound kind of supernatural or stuff like that, like those, but it's also about intuition, like over reading, over gut and primate. It's about like kind of spiritual connection or something. It's the intuition, the other intelligence, the third intelligence. It's instinct, intelligence, and intuition, or smartness and intuition. The third one is not so welcome in many intellectual circles, as they try to diminish the intuition because it's over explanation. But one knows when something's gonna happen seconds in advance when one eats fruits. Like, one really knows something is expanded. One knows when someone is gonna talk to you or write something for you, or when someone is in trouble seconds in advance, or even a minute in advance. One knows which food to choose, even if they look all the same. And one knows, even touching them or not, even if one is not seeing them or even not touching them, one reaches the best fruits without the senses. It's a kind of really natural connection that I cannot explain, but I can elaborate and talk about it.
No, but you're absolutely right. We're primates, and we are designed to seek out fruit, and we should be able to find the best fruit. I agree with that.
Even without the senses, just like,
yes,
bam, they choose the best. And so it's about being awareness of this connection, this natural yet unexplained ability, that the so-called intuition. Tony Wright, in his book, well, the subject, the title changed. It was Left in the Dark, but then changed to Returning to the Brain of Eden. He talks about something beyond explanation in some chapters. The connection with the being, the oneness.
Yeah.
And needs no explanation. It's just there. or here, or it's just is or something.
Yeah.
So look for that connection. The mistake is just being intellectual and avoiding the primate and avoiding the connection with nature. Those are two mistakes. Primate, because they must be not so evolved, because they are not capable of design cell phones and stuff. So no instinct and intuition. Oh, that's the wanna people with drugs and stuff and saying spirits and stuff. No intuition, no primates, no spirit, no, just intelligence. That's a mistake. There's the spirit and the intuition. There's the intellectual square mind, and there is the super senses, super nature primate way of see the stuff, the fruits. So it's the three of them embrace a more conscious, expanded conscious types of intelligence.
Thank you.
To avoid mistakes.
Yeah. Excellent. So anyway, just to pause for a little second, just to say to everyone, if you're looking to learn about a raw vegan fruitarian style diet, you can come to the UK Fruit Fest, which takes place this year from the 21st to the 28th of July in 2019. You can find out more information about that at fruitfest.co.uk. Guillermo, how can we find out more about you if we want to learn from you? Maybe people want to come on some of your courses. How can they learn about that?
Well, I'm Mexican based, so my hometown is here in Monterrey. You can go to Comer para Sanar. It's like eat to heal in English, but it's Comer para Sanar. COMERPERASANAR. Comer para Sanar. That's my Facebook page. There's a brand new vegan or raw vegan recipe every week. And on my YouTube channel, it's also that. I already had interviews with Tony Wright and Dugram and Osborne and Janet and Alan Wakeland Murray and many other fruit enthusiasts and teachers and beloved masters for me. On my YouTube channel, Comer para Sanar. And also on Instagram, I am in Manguimo. So it's MANGUIMO, Manguimo. Manguimo in Spanish. That's on Instagram. Everything's in Spanish, but it's so clear what I am using for the recipes. It's so there, like the actual ingredients, and it's so simple that one can understand. Anyway, I mean, I follow some German-based channels, and they are on German, and I understand because it's like there are the ingredients.
Nice.
So, and if you have any question anyway, write it in English, and that's it. I try to be really creative, but in a very simple and super executive 5 minutes kind of way to do a recipe way.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Guillermo, and I got to learn a lot about you and your lifestyle and what you teach. And everyone, I'd encourage you to go and check out what he's doing at Comer para Sanar, also Manguimo on Instagram. And what's the future for you? Are you got any dreams, big goals for the future?
Well, I will continue with my YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded many content ultimately, and these former months. So I want to continue it in a really professional way. I am building a small studio, like simple studio to continue in a very in a better way, and it's gonna be more about me and fruits and comedy and stuff than other people, because I usually interview. I have been interviewing for years.
Yeah.
But now I wanted to share by myself. Many people said, and what about you? You are not just about recipes. You are about you. You are like have a splendid, weird character, a persona, like a persona. So this persona must talk and dance and even all what I can, and jokes and stuff. It's gonna be pretty much about comedy and feeling happy with fruits, more about recipes.
Excellent.
That's my medium term goal for this 2019.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and everyone, thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching the interview on YouTube or listening on the podcast format, and look out for future interviews. Subscribe to the podcast or the channel if you want to hear more. Feel free to leave your comments as well and let us know what you thought about the interview. And any last thoughts, Guillermo?
Well, I want to thank you. I want to bless fruity blessings to you. Fruit is, for me, the most important food and the key for many, if not all, the issues and problems and terror and hate and fears of the world. Like, if you're really deep into the fruit path, you are gonna learn that fruit is beyond what you have imagined. It's a panacea, the answer, like the very super, hyper, uber answer. Fruit, it's everything. Seeing it in perspective. I know there's meditation and exercise and hugs for everyone, but look for the fruits. Really look for the fruits, and have a very fruity mango day and week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate your invitation, dear fruity Ronnie.
Well, I'm sure everyone's been glad to hear more, and I'm sure that we can maybe connect again another time and do another interview. But thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Love Fruit podcast. Thank you very much.